Mr. and Madam Chairman and Committee, my name's Tina Williams. I teach at West Minico Middle School in Paul, Idaho. These are just comments that I've gathered from all of my teachers in my school. How do school districts replace outworn textbooks? We've put off adoptions of textbooks for as much as 4 years. We're behind. With larger class sizes, you're asking teachers to reach more students with higher standards for both the teacher and the student. I teach in a middle school setting. The middle school credit system is being used as something that's very much needed for our students, our teachers, and our administrators, but with change always comes problems. Currently, we have 80 students out of 450 at West Minico in a credit recovery class because they can't attain a 70% or above. This takes regular classroom teachers out of subject areas that they need to be teaching to supervise a credit recovery class. It will take several years for the effects of this program to be fully understood. We feel it's helpful for both parents, students, teachers, administrators, and the school board. It all makes us more accountable for student learning, but it does take additional staff to implement this program. How will you make up for the loss of wages over the last few years and the effects on an employee's retirement plan? Transportation departments have not replaced school buses. I think that's a safety issue. Comments from students that have taken online classes. The teachers are often in a different time zone from our own. This makes video chatting difficult or if not impossible for the student. One student visited with me recently and said her office hours for the online class were 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning. Guess where she was? In class. She was in school at that time. There's lots of challenges for this. Where did this student get tutoring? She came to the current students that she had, or teachers that she had. She came to teachers that she'd already had that she knew personally to get tutoring for an online class? Is that fair? I don't think so. How will online teachers respond to students that are struggling because of problems at home or in other classes, or with peer pressure from their peers? A student that's dealing with a difficult situation needs a teacher that can respond to the situation now. I don't think an online teacher does that, do they? The reality of schedules in a middle school does not allow for a classroom of 18 students, and you know that. I know that. At West Minico, the average class size is 27, with some as large as 35. I teach science. It's a safety issue. The students love hands-on labs and content. The students are able to tie a concept to the standards that are being addressed.
Finish your thought, please.
If I give them a hands-on lab, they need smaller classes, not larger ones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephanie Archuleta, Lauren Peters, Debra Matthews, Danielle Aarons, Lucinda Mobius, Stephen Adams. Stephanie would be up next. Good morning.
Good morning. Stephanie Archuleta, Caldwell School District, Caldwell Education Association President, full-time 6th grade teacher. I am speaking on behalf of Caldwell teachers and students. The school bell rang. Students filed in and took their seats. There, in the back of the classroom, she hunched over in defeat. Her life was a living hell. In the 13 years she had been in this world, she had seen it all. She was done. No more molestation, no more drive-bys, no more drug and alcohol abuse, no more prison, no more divorce, no more fighting, and no more arguing. Over the next few years, she would try repeatedly to end the hurt and cry her last tear. In a framework for understanding poverty by Dr. Ruby Payne, a former teacher, principal, and administrator, she addresses the hidden rules of the middle class that govern our schools and workplaces. She writes, "Students from poverty come with a completely different set of rules and do not know the hidden rules of the middle class. In order to succeed in life, to become a productive member of society, these hidden class rules must be learned." Examples of the hidden poverty and middle class rules include fighting. For those in poverty, physical fighting is how conflict is resolved. Respect is accorded to those who can physically defend themselves, versus those in the middle class where fighting is done verbally. Physical fighting is viewed as distaste.
1 minute, please.
Dr. Payne states the key to students embracing the middle class rules is relationships. Caldwell has the highest unemployment rate of major cities in Idaho. 77% of our student population qualifies for free and reduced lunch. Our students live in poverty. Today, the girl that I referred to at the beginning of the speech stands before you. Today, I am because of a teacher. Mrs. Lamb saved my life. Caldwell educators have put their blood, sweat, and tears into hours of hard work. You see, I don't know of one teacher who is opposed to change, one that doesn't like technology and what it can do to enhance the learning process, or one that wants their students to fail. But I do know all parties invested, student teachers alike, need to be at the table.
Thank you very much. Lauren?
Morning.
Good morning.
Chairman Bell, members of the committee, I am Lauren Peters. I live in Hanson, Idaho, where my husband and I have 4 teenage children enrolled at Hanson High School. Hanson has been hit hard by the cuts to education. Unlike many districts, we were unable to pass our override levy, so our children lost out. Art, drama, music classes are entirely gone. This year, my son will graduate. And for the first time, for as long as anyone can remember, no high school band will play Pomp and Circumstance as he walks his way to the stage. Our library was another casualty. After 2 years of being staffed by a part-time aide, we lost that as well. So I am volunteering every day so students can continue to have access to the resources there. And I can let you know that reading and gathering in the library is alive and well. I understand that money is tight, but when I heard Mr. Luna's plan to further decrease the number of teachers and replace them with online classes, I had to come and share my experience with you. As a volunteer librarian, I have watched students, including my son, take online classes. 4 of our most motivated, brightest seniors chose to take a math class through Idaho Digital Learning Academy. Each had been a successful student in traditional classrooms, but the online experience left something to be desired. The instructional videos presented simple lessons over the materials the students already knew. However, the problems they were given were much more difficult. Students struggled for hours with problems only to discover that the right answers weren't even there to be selected. The instructor responded to their emails with advice to try this or that website rather than answering questions for herself.
1 minute, ma'am.
When we finally complained to the IDLA supervisor, we were told that the online book was the same book used by CSI. It was not. When the kids got the right book, it was helpful, but by then the class was 2 weeks into its conclusion. The students dropped the class, 2 students dropped the class after many hours of hard work and frustration. The other 2 were able to finish the course only because a math teacher in their building gave up her prep hour every day for weeks to teach them what the online class would not. She tutored them through Christmas break so they could pass the test that their online instructor said, and I quote, "will blow you away." In the end of the test that was covered, little of the coursework was what they had been assigned. Instead, it tested materials the kids had already learned previously in the year before in Algebra 2, but since it was a dual credit course, college credits were awarded. If highly motivated, capable students had this much trouble with learning and had a 50% dropout rate, I shudder to think what an unmotivated, struggling student who isn't lucky enough to have a classroom teacher step in as an unpaid tutor, and I don't think an online band is going to play in their graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. Deborah? Morning.
Chairman Bell, members of the committee, I'm Debra Matthews, and I'm a teacher at Hanson High School, but I am here on behalf of Dave and Cindy Bjornberg, who were unable to attend because of school board duties, work, and sick children. So here is what they sent me to say. Thank you for the opportunity to allow us to testify long distance before this joint JFAC Education Committee hearing. We are parents of a third grader and a preschooler at the Hanson School District. In addition, Dave is the vice chairman of the Hanson School Board, and Cindy is a regular volunteer at the elementary school. First, we'd like to share with you how last session's budget cuts have affected Hanson School District. Hanson eliminated 4 certified positions, 1 principal, and 2 non-certified staff. Instructional time was reduced by 15 days. One of the certified positions lost was a first-year music teacher. Last year, students had 2 music classes per week where they were learning to read music as well as sing. The complete loss of music was too much to contemplate, and so 2 parents have volunteered to lead an elementary music program 1 day every other week. Because of their limited time, these volunteers are primarily teaching students the songs they'll sing for Christmas and spring concerts. Another certified position was lost following the retirement of our elementary PE teacher. The position was not refilled, and instead the high school PE teacher comes to the elementary once a week instead of the twice weekly PE classes students had before. What do these lost music and PE classes mean to elementary students? Students need art, music, and physical education to help the pathways in the brain form so that they can develop the critical thinking and problem-solving skills they'll need in high school, college, and in their careers. As valuable as accelerated reading, rocket math, and science are, they don't build the same synapses as art and music do.
1 minute, please.
And in the words of our third grader, school isn't as exciting without music and PE. Now we'd like to address the legislation before you. If the state's priority is truly students first, then this legislation will fund preschool and full-time kindergarten. It's much better to have children reading at grade level in first grade so they can continue to learn rather than spending additional resources to bring them up to grade level when they should be learning with the rest of the class. Essentially, all children with identified deficiencies at age 3 and 4 are reading at grade level in the first grade after attending Hanson's preschool and all-day kindergarten. Our school district has chosen to fund preschool and all-day kindergarten every day because we know it's the best thing for our students. Our written comments address several other concerns that time does not allow here. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify on a topic that's critical, not just to our families, but to every Idahoan. David and Cindy Bjornberg.
Thank you very much. Danielle?
Good morning, Madam Chairman
morning.
and committee members. My name is Danielle Aronson. I'm from the Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry area. I'm representing Boundary County Republicans, Bonner County Republicans, and the Bonner County Republicans Women Group. This is a regional response from District 1, Senator Sean Keogh's district, and Representative George Eskridge's district. They have been very good in informing us of what's going on, asking for our input, and so we have assembled these ideas. I have a postgraduate education. I also have 4 daughters, 3 in college and 1 in high school. I've been PTA president twice, and I do understand and value education. But these are hard times, and the best education we can give our kids is by fiscally sound decisions. We applaud Tom Luna's plan for consolidation of school districts, increasing class sizes, and paying teachers for performance. Today's students are technologically fused, and using laptops for class time is thinking outside the box and reducing expenses. Students who continue on to college will be in classes of 100 or more and will be required to take online classes in college and in the workforce. We also recommend cutting research and development funds for the college and university systems. These studies can be done in the private sector and many times are used in the private sector for their own profits. The last point, don't cut funds to the local school districts unless we can prohibit school districts from having the ability to have levies. In Boundary County, they are making up their lack of funds by putting through a levy, and it is for $2.6 million. In Bonner County, they're making up for their lack of funding by putting a levy through for $13.6 million. We don't have the money. We have to make cuts. It's not fun, it's hard. But at home in our budgets, this is what we have to do. It's simple math. And this is the best education that we can give our kids today. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Lucinda.